Well, first of all, thank you for being here. My name is Ryan Jones. I am the board president here at Kinwell Academy and have been for a number of years, but also just again, thank you for joining us tonight. I know that with a demanding schedule, there's a lot of places you could be. But you've chosen to be here with us tonight, and we just cannot say thank you enough for that. So really, as you kind of consider the reasons for us having this banquet, it's really two parts. One, I think it's a celebration of the success that Kinwell's been able to have, and largely through partnerships in the community, but through an amazing staff and also incredible students. So we celebrate a lot of what Kinwell's been able to accomplish over this last year. But it's also, this is a fundraising event, and it gives us a chance to allow for some proceeds to come in to help us towards some of the extra things. As the video explained, a lot of our fixed costs come through partnerships that we have through our community schools, but a lot of the education we provide also exists outside the classroom. And that's where generous donations like yours comes in to help support those kind of programs. There's a lot of people we would like to, first of all, say thank you to. One is our sponsors. There's organizations in the community that have kind of caught the vision of Kinwell and said, you know what, we want to be behind that. We want to help support it. And so the list of sponsors that have been generous in that is Atlas Foundry, Wiley Metal, Central Indiana Ethanol, Indiana Wesleyan University, Barr Brothers, Peerless Print, and Edward Jones. And so we say thank you to your generosity. Yep. Also like to say thank you to Dr. Hunt and the representatives from Marion Community Schools. You will get a chance to hear from her a little bit later in the program. And then also I'd like to recognize our board. These are people who have just spent countless hours thinking about the staff, the school, the organization, the students, in not only in thought but in prayer. So I'd like to just mention our board. You don't have to stand, but I'd like to definitely mention Jim Sonnefield, Jim Gartland, Terry Monday, Kelly Snyder, Jerry Harshman, Michelle Bunker, Vicki Conrad, and Tab McKenzie. Could you give me a hand for all that they do? I've been thinking lately about the power of voices. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about the voices in your own life? Was there a time where someone spoke into a moment where you maybe didn't have a lot of clarity, but the words they brought seemed to make it all make sense? Was there someone that spoke something that maybe added some motivation in your life when you needed it most, or maybe there was something that was spoken that just gave you better direction, words of wisdom? I grew up in pretty much an average kid, but in a large, poor family. I'll be honest, we didn't have a lot of talent. But the one gift maybe I felt like I did receive was a little bit of determination. And what I realized even early on was that determination, if it's aimed well, can really lead you some great places in life. But also determination, if it's not aimed well, could lead you into some places maybe you don't want to be. And I learned that firsthand myself. But where I had determination, the one thing I didn't have was direction. At the age of 20, through a unique conversation with a gentleman who was older than me, who I met for only a short period of my life in a unique way, pulled me aside one day and he wrapped his arm around me and says, "Ryan, I want you to hear this." He says, "One of the greatest dangers for a young man is to not have someone in your life who can speak into your destiny." And I never forgot it. And what he was telling me was, Ryan, pay attention to the voices in your life, okay? When I think about our students at Kinwell, I've had a chance to meet a number of you. Some came over to our house not long ago. We had a kind of a fun event. Amazing kids, amazing kids. And if you're around them long enough, you can tell they're determined. They've shared some goals and some dreams and things like that they had in life. But I'll be honest, there's times where a lot of us, because of these situations we're in or the circumstances we can't control, we just may not have the direction. And what I think of Kinwell and what makes it so unique is the power of the voices we have at Kinwell. And so I want to introduce our staff real quick. And I know teachers in general don't like maybe a lot of attention. Well, there's maybe one in here that does, but the others don't necessarily. But I want you to stand. So Christy Burke, could you stand for me? Christy was an intern with us last year, and then the staff said, hey, we have to find a way to have her on staff. Let's make this work somehow. So Christy's been with us for this year, doing an amazing job. Amanda Adams, she's been with us now for 3 years and cannot speak highly enough of what she does day in, day out. Tyler Dresbach. Tyler's been with us now for 7 years. Known Tyler for a long time, cannot say enough about him. And then last but not least, our director at Kinwell, Roger Yantz, over here on the side. Here's what I know. There hasn't been a meeting, an event, a conversation, whatever, that I haven't walked away from this group and have not been challenged personally. And what that says is the depth of who they are as people. I know educators today, there's a lot on them. My wife's an educator, and it is not just about teaching anymore. An educator today actually is someone that's a counselor, they're a therapist, they're a mentor, they're a psychologist, they're a nurse at times, friends. A teacher today carries so much more in demands than we've ever seen before, and I honestly say that I think teachers today may be some of the most underappreciated professions we have. And so I'm going to ask for you to do one thing for me, and this is small, but I hope you guys appreciate it. Could you just help me show some appreciation for the teachers we have in this room tonight? Could you give them a great round of applause? We don't get to thank you guys enough. You can be seated, but we do appreciate you guys. Okay. Now, we also have some amazing students, and this is what's fun about tonight. We get to put them kind of on stage, and I know they don't always like it, but it is, we love hearing from you guys. You guys have a story to tell, and it challenges us, so we thank you for being willing to share it. So, Roger, why don't you come on up and bring some of the students with you.
Normally I have to beg them to not wear hoodies and jeans with holes in them. They outdid me today. They look fantastic, don't they? That's yours. Let's warm up and say your name and what year you are. Come on. Oh, it's on.
It's on. Sorry, guys. My name's Karis, and I'm a sophomore, class of 2027.
My name's Emma, and I'm a senior, class 2025.
My name's Naya. I'm a sophomore, class 2027.
Yeah, and these are our 3 brave students who volunteered to come up here and be interviewed. They're definitely nervous. This is way out of their comfort zone, so I'm really thankful they're here. To start off, Karis, why don't you tell us about what were you struggling with before you came to Kinwell, and how have you grown since you've been here with us?
My struggle mostly was I really wasn't determined enough. I didn't do my work. I was barely in class. I was involved in a lot of drama, and now I have 100% attendance and all A's and B's.
I'm sorry. Pretty much what got me involved with Kinwell was I just wasn't motivated at all. I skipped classes, I was failing all of my classes, and my mom just pretty much was like, hey, I think you should try out the school that your brother went to. And so here I am, and it's helped me grow a lot. I have all A's and B's. I'm about to graduate, and I am up here doing this, which is something I would never do before, so.
That's great.
When I was in public school, I know you saw me heard me say it up there, but I had all F's. I just wasn't motivated to get my work done. And being here and having the motivation and support from my teachers has helped me a lot. I have all A's and B's and pretty good attendance.
Now, I want you to keep going and talk about what's some of your favorite things about Kinwell?
The relationship we all have with all of the teachers. I feel like they honestly want the best for us and care about us a lot, and I just didn't have that in other schools and stuff.
And I feel like mine's kind of the same, but really I just like how I can communicate with all the teachers. Like, I just feel so close with all of them. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but they just want a deeper connection with us rather than just wanting us to get our work done and just throwing us in there, you know?
My favorite part is about how Kinwell brings bonds and friendships. I walked in with some people here that I wasn't the happiest with, and now we're the closest we can ever be. And I used to feel like I had to be angry all the time, but now I'm friendly and happy with everybody.
Just so you guys know, we are recording this. So next week when I make a new rule and you get mad at me, I'm going to play this back. Remember how much you guys like us and
That's fine.
Yeah.
how well you can communicate with us and everything. So we're remembering this.
Okay.
Let's talk a little about trips. That's everyone's favorite thing about Kinwell and the stuff that we do. Do you guys all have favorite trips that you've been on so far? What's interesting is Emma's been with us for 4 years, and Karis and Lanaya, this is their first year with us, but I don't think they've missed a trip that we've had yet. So they have plenty of experience already. Emma, you want to talk first about some of your favorite trips?
Yes. Okay, so some of my favorite trips is definitely ice skating, but the Kentucky trip definitely beats it all because you kind of get a one-on-one time with all of the teachers, and you get to have that bond and that experience with everybody that goes on the trip, and you get to kind of just brings us all together and just kind of makes us bond and makes us kind of have more of an understanding of everybody.
My favorite trip was definitely the Lake Michigan trip. I think the bus ride was fun. We listened to nice music and just all sing and get hyped together and all that type of stuff. And then we just swam and played games and ate pizza and talked. And it's more like, yes, they're our teacher and here to help us, but they're also a friend too, where they can be there when we need them.
And she said, get hype, not get high. I want to clarify, make that distinction real clearly. We get hype together, which we can explain that later after the ceremony.
My favorite trip was the leadership retreat. I feel like I got to learn a lot about myself and how to help others with their battles. And I went hiking for the first time, even though I didn't want to do it. And I got to form a better relationship with Christy and just got to hang out with everybody.
Yeah, this year for the first time we did a leadership retreat. So normally we take students to Kentucky in spring, and we want to get a little bit ahead of the game. We graduated 7 seniors last year, and all were a big part of our culture. And so we wanted to kind of invest in some of our younger students to help them become leaders. So we did a leadership retreat where we took 4 students up to the Indiana Dunes, spent 3 days, and it was a lot more intense than we've ever done. We did a lot of group sessions where we talked about leadership and anxiety and that kind of thing. And so that was new, and it seemed to be well liked by all the students, and we definitely enjoyed it as staff. So, lastly, I want you guys to talk about who your favorite teacher is and why.
Oh, me
If you
first?
need time to think about it, that's fine.
I don't. My favorite teacher is most definitely Amanda. And I would say that because Amanda, I don't know, she just cares a lot. Like, she's there anytime I need her. I can talk about anything with no hesitation, no limit, no judgment there. Anytime I need help, she's there in a quick of a snap to help me. She's a big part of the reason why I am who I've changed into today. And I'm happy she's here. I don't know what I'd do without her here.
My favorite teacher is definitely Drez back there. He's helped me through so much. I would definitely not be able to get through all these math classes without him because they are a struggle. But definitely, he's my favorite teacher just because I can talk to him on a different kind of level than I can talk to with any of my other teachers. And he helps me a lot outside of school with my personal issues and my family issues and just stuff like that. So I don't know, I just thank him a lot for that.
You're not going to mention his coffee?
Oh yeah, and his coffee, mwah, it's delicious, delicious.
Emma and Drez are somewhat neighbors, and so I
Yeah.
think Emma invites herself over quite a bit for
Oh yeah, I was over there
dinner
like,
and coffee.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
My favorite teacher is Christy because when I talk to Christy, she just makes me feel very seen and heard, and I feel like she genuinely cares about me and all of us a lot. And she tries to help me with my mental struggles, and I just don't have that with anybody else.
That's great. Would you guys give them a round of applause? One thing I want to communicate is this relationship that we have with Marion High School. So all of these students that we have are still public school students. They are members of Marion Community Schools. So we don't remove them from the school beyond just physically. They come to us physically, but they remain under the care of Marion High School. So all their guidance counselors are still involved, the principal's still involved, homeroom teachers and special education are all still involved in them. And so it's a beautiful partnership where we can really help each other out. So we're huge fans of Marion High School and what they're doing, and our whole purpose is just to support them and help out with students that might be falling through the nets a little bit. And so we just could not be more excited about what Marion High School has done for our students. The fact that they're even here is it's something that the high school has to sacrifice. There's financial expense for them to come to Kinwell, and on top of more work for the people involved in the bookkeeping. And so what you see here is a big testament to the heart and the care that Marion High School has for their students. And that's something that we're extremely proud of, and we want to just shout from the rooftops to this community how wonderful Marion High School is. Round of applause for Marion High School. There are a lot of communities outside of Grant County that instead of offering something like this, they just remove the student from the school and say, you're on your own. And Marion High School is saying, we want to do whatever it takes to get these students an education. So we're thrilled with that. So with that, I want to introduce Miss Dr. Hunt. She spoke last year, so many of you recognize her, and this is her second year here, and our relationship has been incredible. She's extremely involved in every student, and it's made our staff better. She's made our students better, and so I'm excited for you to hear from Dr. Hunt.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Roger, you know I'm shorter than you, but I will work it out. I'm only going to speak for about 30 to 45 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But I am extremely honored to be here today. And it was important, students. I want you to know it was important for me to be here today. Some other people tried to get me to come to some other things, and Roger beat them to the punch. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't miss the Kinwell Banquet. We have to be at the Kinwell Banquet. No one does any of this alone. No one is successful by themselves. It takes a team. And so before I share my words about the phenomenal partnership that we have with Kinwell, I would like for everyone who works for Marion Community Schools and Marion High School to please stand. We have teachers here, assistant principal, counselors, school board member, board president, and his wife who's a nurse at the school. So if you work for Marion Community Schools, please stand, because we couldn't do this without you. So thank you very much. And students, I am like, oh my gosh, you guys are up here speaking so eloquently and talking about the good things. So when we think about partnerships, I jotted down a few notes about what it means to be a good partner. And with a partner, you have to trust one another. You have to have flexibility with one another. You have to share the same values, the same vision, the same goals, and you have to agree. And sometimes when you disagree, you agree to do the right thing. So this is a good thing. You know, Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, 2 are better than 1, because when 2 work together, the reward is great. And the reward that we have received from Kinwell Academy are the students. This is a partnership. We couldn't do it alone. Great partnerships, you have to trust one another. You have to have a shared vision. One never outshines the other. You both grow and glow together because no one can do this alone. Last year, my first year as Marion High School principal, even though I am a proud 1985 graduate. And I have to tell people, yes, that was the year that we didn't lose any basketball games all the way to state. I'm just saying. So some of you remember that. Those were the days. And my parents, as I said last year, they both graduated from Marion High School in 1966. So my roots run deep. There wasn't anything like this and this partnership with Kinwell when I was a student at Marion High School. And so this is a wonderful thing. You are all here because of the partnership. You are all here to hear the successes of students. This is an opportunity for us to work together and to do what is best. There is power in partnerships, and we all know that. I couldn't stand up here if I didn't have a team that works together. Roger has been phenomenal. We've put some other processes in place where we meet bi-weekly and talk about the successes of our students. How can we support you? What do we need to do? So our school counselors make trips over here to Kinwell so that they're not here alone because they are Marion High School students. They are part of Marion Community Schools, and this is a valuable and valued partnership because the reward are in global citizens. We prepare students. That's one of the missions, one of the goals of Marion Community Schools is to promote students so that they can become successful global citizens. We have to prepare students to be good citizens. Approximately 68% of the students who graduate from Marion High School stay in Marion, Indiana. So we have to prepare them for this city. We have to prepare them and let them know that there are great things that can happen in Marion, and it starts with them. Your ideas, your goals, your dreams, you're next. You're the next generation of what this community can be. And so I'm very proud and honored to be here before you today to promote the good things that are happening in Marion, Indiana, and the good things in the partnership with Kinwell Academy. Thank you for listening. Continue to support us and enjoy your meal. Thank you.
I have the honor of introducing our speaker tonight, our alumni speaker, Logan, to you. And we're really excited to have Logan come back and speak, mainly because Logan represents so much about what makes Kinwell go really well. A lot of times we see after going through unfair setbacks in life, for students, it's way too easy to harden themselves to new people, experiences, and really just finding how to heal from whatever has happened in life. And there's just such a vast demographic of students that we have, which is one of my favorite aspects of this job, of getting to walk with them through that. And Logan is definitely one of my all-time favorite students to have walked through so much of that with, and you'll hear why pretty soon. But when he came to us, so he was immediately ready for a fresh start. You'll see that he's a humble man. He is the same person he is to everyone around him. Like, same person to fellow students, to teachers, to workers, his employers. He can go deep with you and have fun with you in a single moment. We are honored that he is here tonight and gets to share with you guys. So Logan, come on up. You guys give him a hand.
Hello, everybody. My name is Logan Matthew Coffey, and I graduated from Kinwell in 2024. And I would like to tell you a little bit about how I came to Kinwell and my journey through Kinwell. A lot of people were involved in my upbringing, family, friends that I consider family, different role models and people I look up to. When I was younger, my dad wasn't really around. My mom met my stepdad when I was 2, and I've called him Dad ever since. He never missed a game. He was always down to hang, go outside, play basketball. and helped me put different things together. He was everything a father was supposed to be. On August 16th, 2019, he passed away. I was 13 years old. Life got hard after that. I was a 13-year-old now without a dad. I didn't know where to turn in life. Then the world shut down. I was at home all the time, just me, my younger brother, and my mom. We grew closer as a family. We realized that we were all each other had. After school had went back, I struggled. Being the kid with the story behind me, everyone knew my dad. He was a baseball coach, a firefighter. He worked at Ivanhoe's. I felt like everyone was always looking at me, and I hated it. I begged and pleaded to move schools. My mom was set on me graduating in the school that I started at. My grades slipped. I failed classes, started getting multiple zeros and missing assignments. I was at the lowest point in my life. There were times where I just thought, it should have been me. Why was it my dad that passed? I felt like we were good people. Why did this terrible thing have to happen to me and my family? There were times where I felt like I had nobody. Yes, people said that they were there for me, but nobody really called and asked, hey, how have you been? There were multiple times where I felt alone and attempted suicide. But one day, I left school before my math class, and I started driving. I wanted to be anywhere but at school. My mom saw my location, called me and the school, got in some trouble, so my mom called my younger brother's basketball coach. I knew his name, but I didn't really know him. I think his name was Roger. At the few games I would go to and whatnot, he was the director at a school called Kinwell. And that's the school that I moved to my junior year. The day I went to take a tour and talk to Roger, Amanda opened the door for me and my mom. My first thoughts on Amanda was, oh, she's like super young, she must go to college here and just help out. And then she told me she was a teacher. And then eventually I met Drez. My first thoughts of him was, he seems like the type of person to try really hard in gym class. I was right. From the moment I walked into the doors at Kinwell, people made me feel welcome. Not like a new kid, going from 7 classes with 30 kids in one classroom, with three teachers that we called by their first name, to 10 to 15 kids in the school. As my time at Kinwell went on, I grew closer with all the teachers. They became family and role models, and I am eternally grateful. They gave me more self-confidence. They gave me my happiness back. When I moved here, I would have had to work my butt off to even graduate. I graduated early on December 1st, 2023. Since I've graduated, I've gotten a new job that I love. I bought a car. I am happy with where I'm at in life. My mom got engaged, and I'm super happy for her. My younger brother, Mason, moved schools, and he loves it. I know he looks up to me, but he has traits in himself that I reflect on a lot too, like his passion, his determination, and his drive. My stepdad, Rick, in the short time that he's been in my life, he's been a huge inspiration to me and my brother. Roger, Amanda, Drez, Christy, Crystal have all given me so much and have done so much for me outside of school that when I got a text from Roger asking me to speak tonight, it was an immediate yes, no matter what. I would do anything for these guys, knowing what they did for me. Even if it's them asking for me to run scoreboard at a basketball game, to speaking in front of a crowd that I'm not very good at. I am forever grateful for the people that got me to where I am today. I have a quote here. Anthony Ray Hinton once said, "Some nights are just made for crying. There is always dark days ahead, but the sun does shine." Thank you.
That was one of those seniors we had to replace last year. It's just brutal every year. It's like it takes the first semester just thinking, can we invite Logan on this trip? I think he can still come, right? And we're calling their boss to see if they can get off work still to go with us, but it doesn't work quite as well. Our staff's been talking about what's our theme for this year, and we kind of came up with this idea of determination, or being determined. And we've had to really kind of buckle down this year and just keep hounding on that word determined, both with our staff and with our students, that we've got to be determined. Today, Amanda led a family time talking with the students about not allowing distractions, not allowing things that aren't crucial to distract you from what you're determined to go after, right? And for them, it's a diploma, a good family life, those types of things. And for our staff, it's the same thing. We can't let setbacks stop us from caring deeply about these students. We can't let inconveniences stop us from helping these students when they need it. We've got to be determined to fight through and do whatever it takes to help them get where they want to be in life. And a lot of that comes from last year. When we met at this time last year, we didn't know what was coming. We ended up losing 4 students last year. Some were alumni. But 3 students were murdered. 1 died of an overdose. And when you only have about 30 students in a class per year, that's a pretty intense ratio. And that got us to kind of refocus things going into this year. And we got to be determined. As a staff, as a board, as volunteers, and I'm asking as a community, that we have to be determined to do something. Like Dr. Hunt said, this is our future of our community. These students are going to stay here, and with all our effort, they're going to be contributing members of this community in the next few years. I want them to be amazing employees. I want them to be amazing wives, husbands, fathers, mothers. Our staff, our board, we're determined to make that happen. We want to ask if you will join us and be a part of it. Every dollar that's donated goes directly to a student experience. We're really happy to say that. We've been saying that for 7 years since we've existed, that every dollar that's donated is going directly to a student experience. And we want you to be a part of what's going on in their lives. The money that you give will go towards trips, like we've talked about, but there's also counseling services that we're offering students. We're having to buy meals for students. A lot of our students come from poverty situations where there's not adequate food in the house and those types of things, so we want to meet every need that we can to help them become successful students. And unfortunately, it takes a lot of money to do that. And so by joining in, you're becoming a part of what we're doing at Kinwell. And so we're extremely grateful for the opportunities you guys offer for these students. How you can donate, everyone's got a card. There's cards at your table. If you're trying to decide how much to give, there's some recommendations there. The academic donation is $250, and that gets us computers. Each student has a computer with internet access, binders with notes and passwords saved and all that stuff. So $250 provides that academic things that they need. The next, we've talked about trips. So every other Friday, we go on a trip, and it's a day trip. Tomorrow, we're going to go hiking in Wabash and then take them out to lunch afterwards. So trips are about $500 average. So if you want to donate to sponsor one of our trips, that's that recommendation amount. And then the retreats. You heard us talk about Kentucky. You've heard us talk about the leadership retreat that we started this year. So those are our overnight retreats where we take a select amount of students and really pour into them at a more intense level. That's a $1,000 donation. And then whatever you feel comfortable with outside of that, feel free to. Some of the pens have caps on them, so if they're not writing, they got that little rubber cap. Pop that off and it'll write. So when you're done, there's a vanilla envelope there. Just slide it in there. Check. We can do a credit card. You can put information on the back, and we put it into Square, and you can donate that way, check, cash. Also, if you want to leave your email, we put out a newsletter about every other Friday where we share about what trips we're doing. We keep you in the loop. If there's things that we're struggling with, if there's decisions that staff's wrestling through, we invite the community into those kinds of decisions. And so you can subscribe to our newsletter and be a part of our family in that way as well. Also our social media. And we have a podcast. If you liked what you heard from the student stories, we have a podcast where we talk to students and we kind of dive deep for about 20, 30 minutes into what their life is and how Kinwell's helping out. And so tune into that as well. It's called Culture of Kinship, and that's been rotating up here a little bit. So thank you all very much for spending this evening with us. In advance, I thank you for your generosity. If you have any questions, I'll be floating around. Everyone have a good night.